we there was a kid also. I guess it was my first awareness of the what we then called mongoloids. They were kids with what's that syndrome?
Down syndrome.
The Down syndrome. And one little boy, I remember, really a nice guy. He sold newspapers. He was older than we were. And he sold newspapers in front of a grocery store. And he always was happy and smiling. We used to see him on my way home from school sometimes, from grammar schools. We had to walk. Well, we walked about 2 blocks and a half, I guess, to grammar school. And he was in front of the gate. I think it was the Gateway store. Gateway store was built by a guy.
What's the Gateway store?
Well, there was a grocery store on Cypress Avenue where my mom did a lot of her grocery shopping. Before that, I remember a guy used to come. I think he had a horse, but he probably had a truck. The guy that came and picked up bottles and paper bottles, rags. He came with a horse and a wagon, and he'd buy all your old newspapers, stacks of newspapers.
What did he do with them?
And rags and papers and rags
newspapers?
And bottles. Recycled.
Were they recycling?
He was selling them to somebody. Well, they'd wash the bottles and use them again, I'm sure. And the papers were probably somehow recycled. And the rags were made into newspaper, I think. Or not newspaper, but some sort of high-grade paper, because rags could make great paper. But, because I remember the guy would come with his horse and buggy, and he would rags, bottles, paper, rags, and driving down the road in a horse,
And did people run out with all their stuff?
Well, yeah, they'd stop him, and because we saved newspapers, and we'd bundle them up, and we'd tie them
because of him?
And sell them to him. And
he would pay for them.
Oh yeah, he was buying the stuff, see? Then he would resell it. That's how he made his living.
Wow, okay.
And then a guy would come with a small truck, I remember, and it had like doors on the side of it, and it had bins, and he sold vegetables. He'd come every day, almost every day, and sell vegetables right off the truck. Mom would go out and buy whatever vegetables she needed. And then there was the milkman would come, of course, and deliver milk every day.
Every day he came by?
Yeah, bottles of milk.
How much did they deliver?
Well, a quart or quart and a half.
Did you not have electric refrigerators?
No, what we had was Iceboxes.
And
the Iceman would come every day or every other day. I don't know how often. He probably came down the street every day. We didn't have to buy ice every day. We'd buy 25-pound kegs of ice and put them in the icebox. Except when my dad was there.
What did the icebox look like?
It was a box. It sort of looks like a wooden cabinet, and part of it, the top of it, or the bottom of it, I guess it was in the bottom, was metal lined with a drain, and you put the ice in there.
What was it insulated with?
Wood.
It was just wooden?
Wooden.
Obviously you didn't have styrofoam or synthetics.
No, you had no plastics then, see. It was wood with space between it. There may have been some sort of like paper or fiber in there. I never did. You can buy them as antiques now. People buy them and put them in their house. But he would come and I remember my dad. Sometimes he'd go to the ice house. He and a couple of friends of his.
Was the milk that they delivered cold, or was it just regular room temperature when they delivered it?
Well, they had a truck. They'd drive around and bring it. They didn't keep it refrigerated in the truck that I recall. They may have with ice. I don't recall that. It was just regular milk, And they probably came in every day. They'd bring it. It was probably milked the night before and brought the next day. See?
How much milk? Not like a whole
2 or 3 quarts.
A day?
Well, it depends on how much we use.
What do you do?
Or maybe a quart.
A day?
Well, we drink a lot of, every meal we drink milk.
Yeah.
A lot of milk. And my mother cooked with it, of course. My mom made a lot of bread.
Who says it's bad for you?
The milkman would come. He was the only one that could approach the house when we had, He couldn't come in the house. Nobody could come in the house.
Why, you have a dog or something?
Well, no. My dad got, we all had scarlet fever. My brother, I think my brother, Dad maybe caught it second. My brother caught it. Then Dad caught it, and then I caught it. All three of us caught it, and we're quarantined. You can't go out of the house. You're quarantined. They put a big sign on your door. They come and nail a sign on your door.
Are you serious?
Nobody allowed in, and nobody allowed out.
How long do you have that for?
6 weeks. And there was a little bit of overlap
What
between
is scarlet
us
fever?
catching it, but we were out for about probably close to 18 weeks. And
Oh my God.
I was held back in school because of it. Was in the fourth grade, and they held me just half a semester because we went half semesters. At fifth grade, fourth or fifth grade.
What are the symptoms?
Huh? And we had scarlet fever, and it's very dangerous.
What are the symptoms?
Well, one of the symptoms is you have a fever, high fever, and you're really tired. And then when you start getting well, you peel between your toes and all over.
What? Well, your
Just
skin
peel
all
the
peels
skin.
off?
Just big chunks of skin peel off.
Oh,
I mean, that's
man.
what I remember it as. It can hurt your heart, permanently damage it.
And it lasted for 6 weeks?
I think it was 6 weeks you're in quarantine.
But how long were you sick for?
About three or 4 weeks. You get.
Wow.
I think you get spots on you. Maybe that was something.
Well,
else.
how did you get food and stuff? It was delivered?
Yeah, but they leave it on the doorstep. People would come and leave stuff on the doorstep.
Now, once you've had it,
Are you
to
immune?
it?
I think you are, yeah. And they finally got vaccines, and you don't ever hear of people never get it anymore.
I think I had it.
You had scarlet fever?
I don't know. Some kind of thing like that. Because
Measles?
I remember I had,
Chicken pox?
well, I had chickenpox, of course, but I had mono, but I only had it for something like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, mononucleosis.
And most people, when they get that, they get it for like 6 weeks, like that.
Yeah.
And some blood test or something that was done, the doctor told Mom that I had scarlet fever, and of course I don't.
Yeah, you had scarlet fever.
Cam had it?
Well, apparently it was an exacerbation of strep throat.
What does that mean? Exacerbation of.
Well, it was a bad case of it. It went from strep into scarlet fever, but you never really were that sick with it.
I don't even remember having strep throat.
I don't remember.
It must not have been very bad. For
we
me.
got vaccinated.
Probably because you had it. Maybe you made me partially immune to it.
Yeah, we got vaccinated for mumps, measles, chicken pox, smallpox. Which is the bad pox, June?
Smallpox.
Yeah.
Chickenpox is not everybody.
We had
gets that.
chicken pox. We had all those childhood diseases. They had no way of stopping it. So.
Right.
So
you
except
need-
some vaccines. They had vaccines, and we got vaccinated.
Yeah, but you didn't have antibiotics.
No, we got vaccinated for polio too when they finally got a vaccine. But everybody was afraid of polio. You know, that vaccine, I was still a kid before they got people. I knew some kid that got polio.
How do you catch that? Just from other people?
I don't know how you get from the air. Maybe you catch it from other people, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, before they had you took sugar pills to stop it. That was a vaccination. I remember they take pills at school. They vaccinated everybody, and they killed that disease pretty well off. But my mother, she was a pretty good doctor. You know, she knew how to treat things. She used to make us take halibut oil. It's fish oil. We used to have to take those pills all the time.
Fish oil pills?
Yeah, they were halibut oil. They called them halibut oil pills. That was for nutrition. Cod liver oil, too.
For nutrition? What, you mean like a vitamin?
Yeah, like a vitamin. You take a halibut oil or
Vitamin
cod
D.
liver oil, too, like a vitamin.
What was it, Mom?
I think it was vitamin D, although I don't know why anyone in California would need vitamin D.
No, I think it's probably omega oil. That's what we took. Then we used to get nits in our head, which is like lice.
Head lice.
And what they used was sheep dip. That's what they called it. I guess it was the same thing they dip sheep with to keep the bugs off, the nits off of them. That's what we'd have to go in, and my mother would scrub sheep dip into our
Probably not
wood.
much different than what they do today.
No. So my mother would do that
Crazy
to kill the
shampoo.
nits. I remember that.